Hello, good evening. How are you? Welcome to our Moving Families Forward for a bit of wriggle room. Zoom. I'm Lisa, really excited to be here with you. And I'm just going to introduce myself. I am, as you see there, a wife of one. That's enough. Mum of lots. I've had 14 children and I'm a life lover. And I really do love life and try to squeeze as much out of it as I can with my family. So I'm really excited for you to hear what I'm going to share tonight. Now, somebody has invited you to watch the recording or to catch up on this later because they care about you. And I want you to just keep that in your mind and get back to that person to ask all your questions to, because I'm going to go over things tonight. I don't want to rush it, but I don't want to also bombard you with lots of science. So I'm going to keep it pretty simple and just move through some info. So keep your mind open. We don't know what we don't know. And this may be something. If now's not the right time, that's okay. But, information is power. So, yeah, let's do this. So, who feels like this little guy? I think a lot of us in our communities in life are feeling the pinch, right? Who has noticed the price of groceries gone up? Who's the petrol? Do you feel like this when you really can't have what we're needing to actually buy? I've seen people pick up groceries and look at them and put them back. Excuse me, people getting petrol, just getting $10, $20 at a time because things are tight. So this guy represents a few different things in my mind, thinking about that. And what we're talking about tonight is creating that extra wriggle room within our finances, for our families. So that's just one aspect of what we're going to be talking about tonight. The other, you'll see as we go along. I'll just move ahead. So this little slide here does show us what we're just talking about. The prices of everything has just gone through the roof. Here's a great little visual. I don't need to explain all this to you. You can see the wages there, the hourly wage, and you can see the cost of living. It has got totally out of control. There's a few little bits of info here, which is quite eye-opening. Like 80% of credit card users have unpaid balances of over $7,000. Now, that is a massive concern because we know with an unpaid balance comes the interest rates along with that. So that's going up every month, which is a huge concern. I am so sorry. It's one of my children, an adult man child who does not know what go away means. Anyway, another concern is that the age of retiring has been pushed back for a lot of people because they can't actually get ahead enough to put enough away or have enough of a retirement plan in place. The average age or the retiring age is often around 70. 90% of households have less than 3 months living expenses. This is the biggest concern. A lot of families have both people earning income, right? If someone had lost their job, they've got 3 month backup. If someone has an injury or an illness and the people have to take off work, there's a huge gap there in how people can actually survive. And it's a massive concern. So, looking at ahead of actually building something alongside what we're doing to create that extra buffer is a massive, massive help. And also that, the first time homeowners, home buyers. I was 19 when we bought our first home. Actually, I was 18, and my husband was 26, I think. That was a younger than the average back then, but it used to be 28 was the average. Now it's looking in your 40s even be able to afford a home, buy your own home, that's really sad. Things are just gone so out of whack. Now, this is a little graphic put together by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, you may know him from Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you haven't read that book, I really encourage you to do that. This is what I'm reading at the moment. This is the business of the 21st century. He is a brilliant businessman, has some awesome ideas. Now, this little visual here, it's basically showing us that we either are an employee or business owner. You know, you can have a job or you can actually be creating the job. Either way, you're working for someone or someone's working for you, right? So what we're looking at tonight is owning a system. Now we've got that in place to be able to shift from being an employee to being your own business owner and looking at a micro franchise idea to be able to build that wealth alongside for your families. So tonight you will be learning a few things. I've just mentioned a couple of things, but basically it's around the breakthrough in human aging. You know, age is something we can't get away from, but getting old in better health, aging well is the benefit. Like we don't want to get old and be old. We want to get old and stay really well. So that's one thing we're looking at. And the other is how to position yourself in a position where you can take advantage of this information. So yes, it's one thing being well, but this is double-sided, this little bit of info here. So the breakthrough of activation. Now, we've all heard about supplements and lots of us take supplements, but activation is quite different. It's something that I didn't know anything about until I had come across these products. And the understanding what that does in the body, it's really, really powerful. So let's strap in. Oops, I'm going to play this very short clip just to show you what I'm talking about and keep in the back of your mind the power of knowing this information and using that to help others, also to help yourself.
The small yellow pill, potential early cures.
So that is a very short version of a longer video. If you'd like to watch the 11-minute video of this guy, John, this was an ABC primetime investigative report who they went ahead to this doctor who is an absolute genius to try to debunk the claims that they'd seen because Protandim was on pharmacy shelves back then. So I want to just talk about this doctor and how important he is. But what an incredible guy. Now, he won an award that a lot of famous people have also won. The names like, excuse me, it's called the Elliott Present Award. Now, you'll know some of these names: Albert Einstein, Henry Ford, the Wright brothers, Alexander Graham Bell. Now, these names we all know. This is incredible because this guy, this doctor, has been given the same award as these other famous people. So he is right up there. It's majorly important information that he had discovered. So the number on your screen here is the number of studies at the moment in PubMed on oxidative stress. Now, we may have heard of free radicals, and I never had heard of oxidative stress, but this is in our blood. This is a build-up of the free radicals in our system. Now, there are hundreds of thousands of studies in PubMed on this. If you go Google oxidative stress and disease and just look at what this is linked to. Now, we've never claiming to treat, cure, or mitigate any disease. However, if you can lower oxidative stress, everything else follows. So in PubMed also, there are multiple studies. I'll just show you this next slide. There are multiple studies done by major universities and research institutes around the world, mainly in the US, that have come and shown their studies on Nerve 2 Protandim, and these are the results. It just goes on and on. You can go in there and read for days on oxidative stress and also the studies that we have here. If you're not sure about how to find that info, get back with the person who has shown you this video and ask them for the list in pubmed.gov and have a little read and just see how powerful lowering that oxidative stress is. There's no drug to fix this problem. There's nothing. We've got a natural patented blend of product that is proven to do that in our system, which is phenomenal. Now, here's another little visual. This is what you saw on the screen with John and the doctor, that here's our antioxidant production. So when we are young and in our 20s, it's up there. And as we get older, our own antioxidant production shuts right down. So with having that working with Protandim, there you go. There, our production is way up there as if we were 20 again, which is fantastic. So here's the product. This is our Protandim. This is the Nerve 2 Synergizer. As you said, see there, it does lower oxidative stress on average 40% in 30 days, and often a lot quicker. Like that guy John in the interview was less than 2 weeks and had done over 40%, which is phenomenal. So keeping in mind the product here and how the company has developed more and more. So they've gone into that science of activation, not supplementing, not just trying to put a band-aid on something, but getting the body to do what it's designed to do and create its own antioxidants, lower that inflammation in the cells, lower oxidative stress. It's all part of it. So another thing that they've gone ahead and discovered is that you can actually activate your own GLP-1. Now, GLP-1 is a bit of a buzzword. There's a lot of that going around, the injectables, agonists, synthetic, things that we have been reading have not been very favorable, a lot of those things. So we've got a natural activator there. You can see a few people here. There's Charlene in the middle at the top there. She's a lady from the UK who has a life-altering response to having her own GLP-1 activated. For me, it was menopause that had bit me pretty hard. So to get control of that again has been a huge gift. And to do that naturally has been a process. However, it's been really, really fantastic, and I'm pretty pleased with that. My children, however, don't like seeing me on Facebook in my unmentionables, and I just tell them that you see more at the beach, so that's fine. Tell them to get over it. Another thing has been the liquid collagen. So our collagen activation, we've got our cells in our skin and hair also activated to be rejuvenated and to recover much quicker from just life. And as an anti-aging, we want to feel better on the inside, right? But to actually feel better on the outside is a gift as well. So there's quite a few different things that we've looked at with activation. Another thing here is for dogs, cats, and horses. The same mechanism within mammals. So skin conditions, inflammation, mobility, especially for horses and dogs and cats, is really beneficial. And also for recovery, to get the cells working as they should, recovery for different things is phenomenal. So with everything I've just thrown at you, how do we take advantage of this? One thing to anti-age on the inside for ourselves and for our family and to feel better. But what else can we do with this info? Being on the front of this is incredibly important. So LifeVantage, a bit about who we are. So as I mentioned before, Protandim NRF2 was on pharmacy shelves in the US, drugstores back in early 2000s. Excuse me. And then the company LifeVantage was formulated after that. So it is a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ with things like Apple, Google, Amazon, all these massive companies are publicly traded. That's LifeVantage. So being a publicly traded company, you've got full transparency and you can see the books every 3 months. They are there for you to look at. It is, as I said, US based, debt free. There's millions in the bank, which is what you want. You don't want something to be here today, gone tomorrow. We've got a brilliant modern business model. So It's for people that want to take control of their incomes and their futures and to build something around their own lives and in the time that they want to put into that, which is phenomenal. So you've got that stability of a good company. You've got a phenomenal product that nobody else has. Like Protandim, there's multiple patents around Protandim. No one else has that, especially looking at PubMed.gov. That is a phenomenal product to have all that proof. It is what it says it is. So no one else can replicate that, which is really, really good. With our business model, we have got none of the back end to deal with. We've got the shipping, the billing, the IT, all the legal and the product development and the research is all done by the company. We don't have to do any of that. We just need to be on the front of all of that to promote and to share what we love and what is actually helping. And to help people on that level is a huge gift. And I've really loved to be able to be helping people like that. Excuse me. So this little graph here, it's all very technical, and I've forgotten the name of the guy who actually did this up. But basically, that yellow line there is showing you where our company is at the moment. And to be at the beginning of the critical mass before it takes off, that's where we want to be, right? So we are about 200 million at the moment, LifeVantage, and we're at the very, very edge of taking off for maturity. So that's really, really exciting to be at the front of that wave is amazing. Now, if now is not the best time for you, that's fine. However, just keep in mind that, it's there and we are about to really hit momentum, which is really exciting. So thinking about a few things in our home that, we know. So there's things like if I said to you, "Oh, pass me a Kleenex," well, you're going to get me a tissue, right? We've got your iPhone. It's a phone. We've got other things I can think of. Starbucks. We know it's coffee. You've got your things that Band-Aid, right? A Band-Aid. It's not a Band-Aid. It's a medical sterile strip. A biro. Biro is a pen, but we say biro because it was a brand. Sharpie. It is a permanent marker. So all these different brands that we've got that we just put a name to, we know what we're talking about, right? But to have something like what we've got is along these lines. It's going to become a household name. And also with those things, you've got subscriptions on things and you don't change your toilet paper brand every fortnight. You don't get a new coffee machine or brand of coffee. You don't change your iPhone to be a Android and then go back again. You stick with what you love. And when you've got something that you love and works, you stick with that and you love to share it. So how do we get paid with this? So here's a little graph here of showing us exactly what's possible. So to get paid monthly, we get paid monthly, which is brilliant. And here you go, you got a little bit of a visual here. So say for customers, you got sale points. So for 500 points, which is roughly, let's say 5 to 8 customers, there you've got $75 earnings. You've got a 15% sales bonus there. When you go up there, you've got 4,000 in points. You've got $1,200, and that's a month, which is phenomenal. But it gets better than that. This is very, very average for US consultants back in 2022. Who loves moving? You've got tons of boxes here. This is an awesome visual to say, would you like to move all that yourself? Looking back at the other visual of, you having a business and you got products for people and you're getting paid on that. But we're looking at this and how much better would it be to have all your friends come over and move all these boxes with you. Get 5 friends, all take boxes out, and it's all done. So the power of linking arms with other people and getting things done gets it done much quicker and with a lot more fun. What about financial tug of war? Like, are you in this by yourself? Like, don't try and do it alone. This is what we're doing here. We're building a team and everybody wins because we link arms. You're in business for yourself, but you're never by yourself. So we have got such incredible support systems within our business that you're not by yourself. And that's the power of networking. So here's another image here to show you what helping five people looks like for you. So we've got the five there in your team. There you go with the sales, and you've earned 10%, and it's $150. And you help those five find their five, and then so on. You get down to 225 people when you've got your five finding their five, finding their five. You see how it works. There you've got over $11,000 a month. Now that is really life-changing money. And I'd love to show you on the next slide what that can look like. So everybody's got a number, right? So look down this list here, the median monthly commissions. So this one here gives you a bit of an idea of what is possible. This is an average. I've got friends that are right down the bottom, and I've got friends who are in the purple, and myself, I'm in the green. And that just shows you what is available and what is possible for a monthly income with building a business around other people, linking arms with them and helping them earn money as well, them helping their people. And look, everyone's winning, right? Your health's improving. You are a bit more comfortable, have a bit of wriggle room within your budget, and life can be a little bit easier. When you look at the column here, the fourth column, the investment needed. So if you are looking at wanting to earn that sort of money, you'd need here, if you were looking at earning $11,500 a month, you'd need $2.3 million in the bank to be able to generate $11,000 a month. That is a lot of money. Now, I don't know many people with that sort of money in the bank. However, I've got real friends here, real people who are earning that sort of money, who've been in the business a while. There's an average of months here. I've got friends that have been doing this for years, and they've been in that category for a long time, which is really, really great. Now, as I said before, you're not on your own, and we don't have to do any of the back end. Here we've got fantastic resources. I've got seven-figure earners in my pocket that I can call for advice, for encouragement, for information. And we have weekly contact with these top earners in the company who are at the moment in the US meeting with the brand new CEO. We've got weekly support Zooms. We've got a brilliant app. Everything's done for us. We've got everything at our fingertips, which is phenomenal. And having the power of this in your own hand, on a phone, wherever there's Wi-Fi, over 23 countries in the world we are, as in the company. This year was Portugal and the Canary Islands. Last year was Iceland was launched. So we are everywhere, and it's exciting to be able to see so many more people having the health help, also able to help support their family. Here's a few of our awesome team. These are lots of friends from across the world, a bit of my family there, and a few friends, people from every walks of life. Everyone can learn to do what we're doing. You don't know what you don't know, but as I said before, knowledge is power. And if you can learn to do the steps that everyone's helping you learn and grow, then look, anything is possible. So here is our business builders pack. So I got the biggest pack when I started because I could see the potential of what that means. Now here we've got a saving of 37%, and it's actual product. You're getting real products that you can use. You can experience your own transformations. We've even got event tickets there, which is fantastic. So you can go to conferences or any corporate event that have been put on around the world. And that also could include a ticket to the Utah conference in October, which is really exciting. And you don't only get that, it's not just product. When you enroll as a consultant with LifeVantage, you're getting us. You're getting the website for e-commerce, which is about to in Australia, and then the rest of the world, we're going to go to Shopify, which is a fantastic platform. We've got our app that I mentioned. We've got Board's mobile app, which has got so much information at our fingertips. There's everything I've mentioned earlier. Our monthly business training, our quarterly corporate sponsored events all around the world. AI training, everything you need, we've got there for you. And that's all included. It's all free, which is awesome. And I just love the community that we've built and how encouraging and uplifting everybody is. There's another couple of photos there. That's us in on a cruise off to Vanuatu and New Caledonia. And Sydney started in Sydney, and just being able to travel with the kids has given us that extra bonus to be able to do that. And their world's opened. Actually, taking them to the US in October for conference and just broadening their horizon. So we're really grateful that we've been able to do that with our younger kids. I'll leave one more thought with you. Now, this is Jim Rohn, who is a famous author and speaker and encourager in the network marketing space. You know, if life doesn't get any better by chance, it gets better by change. Now, that's something you really have to see. You know, nothing changes if nothing changes. And what's the definition of insanity? Couldn't say that today when I tried to say that earlier, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. So I would challenge you to look at things a bit differently, reach out to the person that has shared this information with you and talk it over a bit further. Ask for some more info, ask for more videos, ask to have a chat and have a coffee and just get more details on how this could be for you. Don't overthink it. You know, we don't know what we don't know, and we don't want to wait till we know everything before we get started. We want to start and just grow and earn as we learn. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you and you taking the time out to be here. Have a fantastic day, night, wherever you are, and love to meet you sometime. See you later.